You are the villain in Black Ops 6. And no, I don't mean this metaphorically or spiritually or what other way you might imagine. I mean this quite literally. You are the villain of Black Ops 6. The character you play as in Black Ops 6, William Case Calderon, is a villain. And I'm going to show you exactly why in this video. So for those of y'all who don't know, I am IceBurgZ, your Call of Duty informant, and let's dive right into the information that you need to know. So first off, the Black Ops 6 campaign itself is very complex and introduces the kind of really interesting twist that the character you play as is the villain of the game, but he does not know it. He unknowingly is the antagonist and the bad guy of the game. Think about every single Black Ops game ever made. You are always the good guy. You are always working on the good side. You may not have all the resources, but you're always working towards a good cause. Well, in Black Ops 6, you are the villain. Case has been brainwashed and is unaware of his true identity as the villain of Black Ops 6. And there's a lot of evidence that suggests that Pantheon, the secret organization, has actually brainwashed him using advanced techniques that they combined from the Numbers program in Black Ops 1 and we've seen previously, and the MK Ultra program we saw in Black Ops Cold War. So let me explain a little bit. The Numbers program itself installs a subconscious programming. It makes you do things, but doesn't change who you are. Alex Mason killed President John F. Kennedy in the lore of the Black Ops universe. However, at his core, he was still Alex Mason. In Black Ops Cold War, at his core, Bell was still Bell, but his entire personality had been overwritten. He had been given false memories, and every time Bell walked past the TV, these memories of his subconscious would pop up and kind of hint that there's something else going on that we really didn't know. But this all builds towards Pantheon using the subconscious programming of the Numbers program, and using MK Ultra and combining the two to create a whole new personality. As a matter of fact, it's one of the major plot points of the game because we see Pantheon has actually taken control of Vorkuta prison, and we travel to Vorkuta prison in the campaign. The only reason we would ever go to Vorkuta prison is to find out about the Numbers sequence, because in Black Ops 1, that is where Alex Mason was brainwashed. Dragovich even says that while he couldn't brainwash Alex Mason, he needed to be sent back down to work in the mines with the rest of the prisoners, which tells us that Alex Mason was quite literally brainwashed at Vorkuta. So Pantheon has an interest in the brainwashing, and why is not really clear, but I have a pretty good theory on that, and I made an entire video kind of talking about it. I'll link at the end of this one. But anyways, let's go back to Case being the villain of Black Ops 6. Now, one of the biggest and most damning pieces of evidence was right in front of our eyes and was shown to us a ton of times, but not a lot of people caught it. In the actual mission Most Wanted, where we break out Russel Adler, if you look at the left wrist of Case, you'll see right here that he actually has the Pantheon logo tattooed on his wrist. The tattoo itself is quite old and it's quite faded, so it's not something that's recently happened. So at some point in time, Case was a member of Pantheon, and it had to have been quite a few years ago that they got this tattoo because it's pretty well faded. And on top of this, we know this is a Pantheon logo because it's shown everywhere in the promotional material for Black Ops 6. I believe Case voluntarily signed up to be brainwashed and implanted in Frank Woods and Troy Marshall's team to be an inside man. Now, what's interesting about this is that he had to have been part of Pantheon, as we see from that tattoo on his left hand, and willingly sign up to be brainwashed and have his entire personality overwritten. I believe Case, at one point, was a member of Pantheon who was deeply devoted to their cause. But I don't believe that's still the ending result in Black Ops 6. So let me dive a little bit more into this information about why we know Case is acting as a bad guy throughout most of the game. First off, we know he is working alongside Troy Marshall and Frank Woods, and they trust him pretty well. As we know from one of the missions we were shown, Most Wanted, Troy Marshall actually asks Case what they think they should do, go loud or stay quiet. This one interaction right here proves that William Case Calderon and Troy Marshall have worked together for a long time, long enough that they actually trust each other to make strategic decisions and tactical decisions in a firefight. Now that's pretty important because that means that he's been alongside Frank Woods and Troy Marshall for a couple years now, at least since Frank Woods was kneecapped. However, there's also some other subliminal programming that was put into Case's mind. So when we actually get this kind of dream sequence right here, it's not actually a dream sequence. It's the effect of this psychological chemical weapon. And like I said earlier, that's in that other video I'm gonna link at the end here. But this chemical weapon basically makes you see what you hate the most and try to fight it. And for some reason, all of these mannequins that Case is trying to fight all look like Russel Adler. So it begs the question, why is Case having a deep hatred towards Russel Adler, and why does he want to kill Adler? There has to be some subconscious programming put in by the number sequence that shows that Case wants to kill Russel Adler. Now, if you look back at it historically, Russel Adler is the only person left alive who still knows about the Numbers program. Alex Mason and David Hudson are dead in 1989. Weaver is in jail and has been missing for a couple years at the start of Black Ops 6. So Russel Adler is quite literally the last person on Earth who knows about brainwashing. And basically what this call comes down to, in my opinion, is that Case was placed in this team as a mole to gain information about the number sequence and potentially eliminate Adler if he was given the opportunity to, if Adler exposed himself. And Adler, considering he's now a fugitive following what happened in 1989, would possibly seek help from someone he trusts. Someone who was a part of his CIA team back in 1981 and he knows is on his side and does not like the way that things are run at the CIA. That person would be Frank Woods, someone that he knows he can trust. However, him coming back to Frank Woods hints that, in fact, Pantheon did plan on them not being able to capture Russel Adler, knowing how great of an operative he is. Now, something else I want to talk about is actually one of the mission names. One of the mission names is called Impostor. This is an actual mission title. Why would you call a mission Impostor unless there was somebody who was supposed to be good, working for the bad guys, or supposed to be bad, working for the good guys? Well, I actually have a video coming out later today talking about how there's actually a traitor in this rogue Black Ops team, but the Impostor itself is not referring to that person. The Impostor mission is referring to Case. Now, interestingly, what we know is that this mission Impostor is the second to last mission in the game, meaning that, as I believe, Case is going to have a psychological break towards the end of the campaign as he kind of switches sides mentally and really tries to help Troy Marshall and Frank Woods. And we're actually shown the psychological break that he goes through in this short little clip right here that shows Case falling backwards out of a red vortex in the sky. And if you look carefully, all to the sides are different locations from different missions we've been shown in Black Ops 6. And if you look, a bunch of these are pretty recognizable from different missions. What this really shows is that Case is kind of fighting against all of these urges in these missions he's been on and trying to decide which side he's on. However, Call of Duty has already told us there is only one canonical ending in Black Ops 6. There's not multiple endings. Considering Case is not a character we know about in the future, it's safe to assume that Case was brainwashed. He was part of Pantheon and then flipped sides at the end of the Black Ops 6 campaign, and knowing he was compromised, was ended up being killed, similar to Bell at the end of Black Ops Cold War. But the biggest question from this actually becomes, not only was Case brainwashed, but who brainwashed Case? And since they did brainwash him, they specifically put him on Troy Marshall and Frank Woods' team, hinting that someone in the CIA, very, very high up, wants William Case Calderon to be on the same team as Troy Marshall and Frank Woods. And that we know that this person's okay with waiting a very long time to find out what the end result and find out what Woods knows about the numbers program, if Russel Adler is going to turn to Woods for help, and someone who has the power to control personnel in special operations. And I believe I have the answer to who that person is. But you'll have to find out in the video I'm releasing later today. And if you want to know about that chemical weapon and what Pantheon's plans for Black Ops 6 are, click on this video right here. Until next time, I am IceBurgZ, your Call of Duty informant. Stay frosty.